Now, I know nothing or no one could have prepared these ladies for what they were walking into. But also, I guess it's a good thing that I'm the way that I am, that I don't really trust people that much. And especially if we're in a relationship and we've been fighting on and off the entire relationship, I'm not going on no hike with you. I'm not going to climb no mountains with you because I don't trust you enough to do that. And as a matter of fact, me closing my two eyes and going to sleep next to you is the most craziest thing thinking about, especially when you've been fighting, because human nature have proven themselves to not be trustworthy. A lot of people in this earth, in this planet earth, that we're so afraid of entities and demons, but we're not afraid of our own brethrens. There's literally, not to say that you should be afraid of everyone and everybody, but you should be cautious. You should keep a second mind, remember to always think twice. Because at the end of the day, people have shown themselves, people have shown their ass one too many times. And you want to trust human, right? You want to trust the human nature. But they have shown their ass so many times to the point where I have watched so many crime shows and documentaries of people, newlyweds. They will go on their honeymoon and their partner will literally purposely plan this whole thing, went through the whole wedding and everything, only for them to be unalived by their partner. There's a story that I shared last time, and it was of this lady who basically knew that her husband was planning on unaliving her on their vacation. So she basically did something where she told the hotel people that if she comes, she does not come back, to look at her husband. Imagine you having to do that for someone that claimed to love you. Imagine you having to watch your back that much for someone who you go to sleep every day, close your two eyes, and you're practically dead, because when you're sleeping, you're practically, you know what I mean? And there are some people who sleep so heavy that the whole house can fall down and they wouldn't know, right? But imagine someone who claimed to love you. You have to literally warn the hotel people that, hey, if I don't come back, look at my husband. Is crazy. But I have seen this one too many times. And the fact that, like, the way that I work my intuition, I'm just like, look, I don't trust you as far as I can throw you. Not even if even if we're married, even if we have children together, I still think twice about certain things because people cannot be trusted. Sometimes even your own kids. Imagine the same one that you brought into this world, you can't even trust them with your two eyes closed. It's crazy. But this is the most diabolical things I have ever heard of a man, instead of looking into your face and say, hey, I'm done, I don't want to break up, and they claim to be the strongest species, right? But they can't even tell you that they want a divorce. Instead, they want to take you on a hike and just leave you there. That's crazy.
Why am I today years old, 42 years old, and just finding out about Alpine divorces? Y'all, I went on a fucking rabbit hole and I had no business goddamn doing. I should have minded the goddamn business that pays me. Because not only do women have to fear for their lives in abusive relationships, just walking down the street and hoping that somebody doesn't fucking attack you, but now another layer has been added, or has been around for a while, where guys plan intentionally to take their wives on hiking trips just to fucking leave them at the mountaintop, y'all. And you know what? It's the fact that they put so much effort into organizing and planning this, but somehow they are willfully ignorant about everything else that should be done in a relationship. Whether that is to do the right thing and file for separation, file for divorce, go to therapy, etc. The same people who claim that they don't know how to cook, clean, and do labor in the house and help with the fucking children, planning fucking Alpine divorces, as if women needed something else to be on the lookout for. Don't go on no fucking hiking trips, y'all.
Imagine being such a terrible person that you take your girlfriend or wife out in the middle of nowhere and then abandon her. She has no idea what to do, much less where to go, and you know it, and you did it intentionally. Isn't this attempted murder? Not only is that exactly what happened to this woman, it is such a known thing for men to do to women. They have a term for it. Alpine Divorce. Getting so dangerous for women and girls that they are now making videos warning other women to never go hiking with a man.
Anytime you think about being a woman, do not go.
Shouldn't all of these men be arrested for this? Because people have lost their lives. This woman, Tony, her husband Harold made her go for a hike with him. She didn't survive that hike. When investigators examined her death, they found he had found the exact spot where everything happened, marked on a map with an X on it. Not only had he planned this whole thing out, they were able to prove that he had went to this exact spot 6 times before dragging this woman out there and ending her life. This woman, I'm going to tag her where I can, shares her story where her husband did it to her, not 1, not 2, but 3 times in the course of 2 days. Women who are lucky enough to make it out of here alive, do you know what's saving them? Other hikers. Complete strangers are finding these women and then helping to get them to safety.
What the fuck do you mean it's common for husbands to take their wife or girlfriend on a freaking hike and leave them there? What do you mean that's common? Every day there is a reason why I shouldn't be scared of men. It's called Alpine Divorce or Alpine Divorce, something like that. Point is, it's a name for it. This is a common thing. They have a whole woman support group and everything. What is this? What is going on?
Every day, every single day, I get tagged in or sent some post, some situation where some man is doing something deplorable to a woman every single day. This newest thing that I have been sent several times and tagged in several times is about Alpine divorces. So what Miss Love Sweetie says, men are taking their girlfriends, women, and their wives out for hiking trips and leaving them behind, and even some die in the worst conditions. It's a thing called Alpine Divorce. I understand that TikTok videos, anybody can put a caption on it. Like this woman says, so he left me alone in the effing woods. And this woman says, point of view, your man leaves you behind on a hike. This caption, point of view, you go on a hike with him in the mountains, but he leaves you alone by yourself. And you realize he never liked you to begin with. So, like, I get it. Anybody can put a caption on a TikTok. I get that. But we do have this situation out of Austria where this man went on a hike with his girlfriend. He left her up in the mountains and she died. He didn't. He's on trial, but she died. Here's an article that just dropped on it a couple of days ago. Multiple outlets are reporting on this, but it says, mountaineer who left girlfriend to freeze to death on Austria's highest peak gets suspended sentence after ex testified he abandoned her too. So this is not his first time that he has abandoned a woman. Thomas Planberger was convicted of gross negligent manslaughter for leaving his girlfriend Kirsten Gertner to freeze to death on Austria's highest peak. So she died back in January 2025. It says Planberger and Kirsten Gertner were climbing Austria's highest peak when she froze to death after the couple got stuck. Webcam footage of their location allegedly shows Planberger abandoning Gertner and walking down the mountain. Thomas Planberger, 39, was found guilty of gross negligent manslaughter on Thursday, February 19th, in connection with the January 2025 death of his girlfriend, Kirsten Gertner, whom he left behind to freeze on Austria's highest peak, the New York Times reports. This is honestly quite disgusting. He faces no real consequences. It says Planberger received a suspended 5-month prison sentence and a €9,600 fine per the New York Times. Planberger and his girlfriend, Kirsten Gertner, 33, were hiking on Großglockner in January 2025 when Gertner froze to death, the Innsbruck Public Prosecutor's Office in Austria previously said. He got no consequences. What in the actual F is this? According to prosecutors, the Times of London reported, Planberger allegedly abandoned a previous girlfriend at a mountain range when it became too challenging for her. The previous girlfriend survived the ordeal and testified in court, per the New York Times. After the woman complained about the difficult nature of the climb, prosecutors say the former couple got into a heated argument about it. It wasn't immediately clear when the alleged incident occurred or whether the woman suffered any injuries as a result. Planberger denied the accusation. So this dude is just out here just putting women in terrible and dangerous situations, and he gets off scot-free. This part really pissed me off. This part. The woman who died, her family stood up for the dude that left her up there. It says Gertner's own family stood behind Planberger, whose lawyer read out a letter from them in court where they wrote, "Our daughter took responsibility for herself. We cannot fault her boyfriend, per the Times." I am disgusted at this situation. All right, now I'm going to jump into some more of these comments underneath these threads posts. Feather and Arrow says, didn't a man do this to his 3 children and the poor kids have to save themselves, all because he was mad at the mom? And then a Funky Fennec shared the article saying, yes, the children, by the grace of whatever you hold sacred, survived. He was initially hailed as having saved the children after getting lost, but there were videos, etc. And so people reported on this one too. I kind of remember this. It says, Utah dad who got stranded on hike with 3 kids charged with child abuse. Listen to what this woman says her ex-husband put her through. She says, my ex-husband left me in the middle of the ocean. We were diving in San Martin, and he left me and swam back to the boat and convinced them I was on the boat. We were exploring a shipwreck and turned around to find him, and he was gone. Came up to the surface, no boat, no land, nothing. I had a compass on my gear, so I started swimming. Eventually came upon a catamaran, and they took me back to port. She continued with, I couldn't possibly respond to everyone, so here are some answers. 1, yes, attempted murder, but he and the boat crew and the police all decided it was a big mistake and that it was probably my fault for not paying attention. 2, if you've never been in an abusive relationship, you cannot speak to this and ask why I didn't leave. 3, when I tried to leave, he actually tried to unalive me with his own hands in my home in front of one of our children. 4, the final attempt on my life, he was arrested. Felony attempted murder. This charge was eventually dropped to a misdemeanor. He was fined $258, sentenced to pick up trash on the freeway for a few weekends, and an anger management class. 5, you can see the system in action right now. Absolutely no consequences for violence against women and children. 6, no book and no movie. 7, I did not murder him and he is remarried last I heard. 8, I divorced him over 20 years ago and this happened in 2005. 9, he was a business owner and everyone loved him. 10, believe women. Lisa continues, I also want to say thank you to everyone who has commented and showed concern. It was over 20 years ago. I started my movement to allow women a safe space to tell their story because I didn't have a safe space to tell mine. We now help women globally in over 60 countries escape violence, start their own businesses, nurture their communities, and use their voice to help other women. We have to do this together because she is absolutely right. People will do more questioning of the woman versus holding the men responsible or accountable for their egregious or violent behaviors. I Love Snacks says, you are truly a survivor. This story is absolutely chilling. I am so disgusted by this system that favors monsters like your ex. Then we got this man named Alan. He says, in high school, coming back from skiing in Colorado, my buddy and I came across a woman walking alone in a remote area with minimal warm clothing. Her boyfriend had dumped her miles away from any town, and it was getting dark on a Colorado winter night in the mountains, -10 degrees to 0 degrees Fahrenheit, easy. We gave her a ride home to Denver. Murderous bastard. He says, I remember now. We drove by the lady, looked at each other, and we were like, we have to go back. Just 2 17-year-olds trying to comprehend her situation. So this woman probably did survive because these 2 teenage boys had more sense or were not actually murderous bastards like this ex-boyfriend of this woman. I really do hope that it was an ex-boyfriend at this particular juncture. Here's my homie Miss Mazakine saying, there's guys having whole tantrums when women refuse to go hiking for first dates. And it seems like going hiking at any particular juncture might be risky as well, because some of these people are in actual relationships and these dudes just want to break up. But instead of just breaking up not like normal people, they attempt murder. Like, why is this a thing? Why can't they just be normal humans? Eggins says, that's definitely such a weird first date idea. We got Aria says, I mean, I could totally see the appeal in an ideal world where men weren't constantly sexually and physically assaulting women. Cyber Dream Girl says, girls just want free food. What about a free park or a hiking date? Sir, those are prime locations to get raped or taken out. A cheesecake factory isn't. We have another story of abandonment. Mrs. Green says, yes, my ex did this to me, left me for dead while hiking. I made it back to my car after dark. We took my car, by the way. I genuinely thought I lost him while we were by a river and was so worried I called out a search and rescue to look for him. I then called his mom to tell her what happened, and she said that he was with her. She knew and came to pick him up after he left me. Tidy Bit of Chaos says they were in it together. That's effed up. And Mrs. Green said, oh, 100%. She did not like me. That is absolutely jacked up. Like, these dudes are a mess, but their male-centered mothers are also a mess. These patriarchy patties that uphold anything that these dudes do are part of the problem as well. All right, y'all. So many of these different stories, so many comments, but this is just a few that I got to. Just another reason to make these people lonelier.
Now, the elderly couple is a perfect example of that, because I'm pretty sure they probably have been married for like 40 years with 4 kids and 11 grandchildren. Imagine being in someone's life for this long, and they probably been plotting to unalive you for so long. This man literally had visited that place 6 times, took pictures, knew exactly where he was going to leave that poor lady, and she did not make it. Because why? She was older, her immune system is a lot lower, you know, it's a lot weaker, and she probably don't have the strength to climb those mountains and go for days without water. This is so sad. It's so sad. Imagine they have grandkids, they have kids. Now, how are you going to look at your kids in the face and always know that you're the reason why their grandma's not here anymore? You're the reason why their grandma cannot have Christmas with them anymore, because you're too selfish to simply just divorce the person. They're probably thinking, the men who does stuff like this, and especially the ones who are married, are probably thinking, you know, it's easier for her to be unalived than to get a divorce, you know? This is so sad. It's so sad that people will do things like this to their loved ones. And then you got people, you know, questioning why you don't trust anybody. Well, it's because of people like this. That's the reason why I don't trust anybody, because you have shown yourself one too many times. People have shown themselves one too many times, and especially when it comes to like money, when money is involved. Because a lot of things, I have a friend who's a divorce lawyer, right? And the things that she be telling me, it really does make sense. Like, a lot of people, that was a really loud plane. A lot of people, literally the person that you're married is not the person that you're divorcing. They literally turn into demons. Because of money, because of property sharing. It's crazy. It's actually sad to see, but this is the new thing now. Y'all be careful if somebody ever asks you to go on a hike, especially if y'all been, you know, arguing the past few days and months, and you know the relationship is about to end in divorce. And sometimes you can't even, you know, it happens even when things are good and, you know, you just celebrate your honeymoon and all that, because people are weird. People are super weird. But a lot of times the signs are there. A lot of times the signs are absolutely there. And you think, oh, you know, we can work on things, we can work it out. And the whole time that person is planning on how to unalive you. That's crazy. That is so sad. That is so sad, because majority of this situation, one person is trying to work on the relationship and the other person is planning their exit. So a lot of time, you know, I can see why a lot of women don't want to get married, right? Or don't want to get in a relationship with men, or even choosing the bear over men, because men have shown their ass so many times. And don't get me wrong, I know there's going to be somebody in the comment section talking about, oh, well, there are ladies like this too. And I get that. There are ladies like this, yes, but not as much as men. Not as much as men, because